The people who fought in the Vietnam War were heroes. And the people who protested the Vietnam War were also heroes in their way. But the real heroes were the guys who pretended to be gay so they wouldn't get shot. So it starts off, it's 1969, the Vietnam War is happening, young men are coming to the draft board, and they go into the colonel's office, and they're all trying to get out of it. And then the assistant to the colonel, he says, these next guys want to see you together. And these are our heroes, Danny and Elliot. So they're like, look, boys, do you want to go in the army or not? And they're like, we'd love to. And then he's like, okay, you're going in. And then they hold hands and go, we did it. And then they go, what? Hand holding. It works. They get rejected. So then he goes over to Elliot's apartment to have sex with this woman to celebrate, even though he has a fiance, this guy, and the colonel's outside, and he's about to go up, and he's like, you better be having gay sex up there. Now the colonel's following him to make sure he's being gay, because back at the thing, he's like, okay, but if we find you being not gay, you're going right back into the army. And then he's like, you know what, this isn't, you gotta leave. He's worried that he's gonna get caught, so he kicks the girl out, and then he goes into Elliot's room, because it's his place, and then they see that the colonel's looking up at them, and they go, look, man, we gotta do it. And in the window, they just hug, and the guy makes a face like, oh god, oh, it's so gay. And then the colonel goes, well, I guess they're gay, guys. And then they say, we're gonna have to move in together because they're watching us. So then they go to this neighborhood where everyone seems to be gay, and then the realtor shows them around. It's just covered in nude male statues, and the bedroom's pink, and then there's one big bed. Okay. And they're like, oh boy, we might have to have gay sex in there. So then downstairs, Malcolm DeJean, their landlord, he's wearing a silver shirt and holding a basket of fruit. Yep. And he spins around and he's like, I decorated it myself. Do you like the place? He's a real character, Malcolm. Elliot and Danny say they're married. But then he's like, look, no more women. He's like, I do have a date with my fiance. And he's like, well, I don't get any women. He's like, well, you just fuck older ladies. I've got a fiance. And he's like, we need to make this real. We need to sleep in the same bed. And he goes, just so you know, you're not the first man I've slept with. I used to sleep with my dad. So I guess the joke is he just slept with his dad. Sure. I don't want to brag, but I was molested. Good night, Danny. Good night, Elliot. Oh, and then Danny's parents come by. Oh, no. Then the mom goes, Danny, that statue, it's naked. He's like, yeah, they're wrestlers, Mom. You know how the Greeks did it. Mm-hmm. Is she just pointing out that art is gay? But then all those statues had little penises.
They were little. They were all growers, okay? Everybody, David.
But being a statue is the definition of being a shower. You're showing for all time. What could be more of a show? If ever there was a time to grow, it's that show.
Well, they were all soft because they had to pose for so long. They couldn't stay hard the whole time.
Well, you know why.
What's that?
I mean, if they made them hard, people would just come by and use it. You can't have public dildos. Can you imagine how fucked Michelangelo's David would have gotten if he'd had a boner for 1,000 years? That's for his safety. We did that for him. We didn't do that for us. He would have been the most ripped statue in the history of the world. He'd be like, he's frowning. I didn't do that. He's sad. We fucked the statue sad. One of Elliot's sugar mamas shows up. He's like, you can't be over here. And she's like, come on, my husband left for a second. I need it, babe. I need it, you man slut. Then Danny comes back, and he goes up to the bedroom. And Danny goes, Mrs. Conway, my mom's best friend. No! And she's embarrassed, so she just leaves. Mrs. Conway, she's getting her gear on. She's doing a walk of shame. Mm-hmm. She's not paying attention. She starts walking into the flowers, Malcolm's flowers. Malcolm and Craig come out, and Malcolm goes, you dirty bitch! Look what you've done to my peonies! Then Mrs. Conway, she goes, look, you silly queen. Oh, shit. They're not even peonies. They're marigolds. And then Craig, the husband, goes, my God, I think she's right. They are marigolds. And then Malcolm's really losing it, and he says, I may not know my flowers, but I know a bitch when I see one. And then he grabs flowers next to him and hugs them and starts crying and runs away. Okay. This is the tale as old as time. This is the classic rivalry between gay guys and Mrs. Robinsons. Neither one of them takes no shit. All right. He's just walking by a gay bar. Elliot just goes into a gay bar to hang out. In this gay bar, it's full of gay guys and then women trying to talk men out of being gay.
What?
At one point, there's a woman says, what can Bruce give you that I can't give you? And he's like, something very specific. Danny and Danny's fiance, they just happen to want to go in the same gay bar. She's like, come on, it'll be fun. Oh, but then Danny's like, oh shit, I think that's Elliot over there. And then he goes outside and he's drunk now. He's like, we had a deal. We said no girls and we were going to just live together, you and me. And he's like, you can tell her about us? The fiance is like, oh my God, you're gay. And she runs off. Oh. So then the landlord invites Elliot to a party. Mm-hmm. And he's like, it's my annual costume party. Come as your favorite camp character. Judy Garland, Tarzan, the little girl with a penis from Sleepaway Camp. Oh, and then the sister, she comes over and she pretty much throws herself at him. She's trying to see if he's gay, if he'll sleep with her. Right. But Elliot comes home with the sister, and he's like, I don't know if we should do this. They're watching us. And she's like, what are you, a gay guy or something? Mm-hmm. He's like, well, I'll be upstairs if you figure out if you like girls or not. And she does take her top off. Fantastic. She's great. When she took her top off is when I realized I wasn't gay. So good news, everybody. Or whatever. Just neutral news.
Just news.
Just news. Is it weird every time I have sex with a woman, I think of it as proving I'm not gay? This'll show him, I say. And then she goes, show who? And I go, shut up. Okay, so now Elliot goes to the party. To the big party. And they're all looking at him. And then through the party, he sees a woman. Mm-hmm. And we do see a person who appears to be either a drag queen or trans, mm-hmm. or just a man trying to get his kids back. I'm just in town for a Doubtfire. Then there's a guy walking around dressed like an executioner. He goes into the bedroom with this beautiful woman. The executioner comes in. Her wig comes off. She goes, what'd you expect, Anne Margaret? Okay. And then the executioner pulls off the hood. It's the Colonel.
What?
And he goes, what's the matter, boy? You don't like drag queens?
Oh, my God.
And then he does an evil laugh. Oh. And then everybody comes.
Oh, okay.
Oh, and this is when the fiance says, I talked to my doctor. Uh-huh. He says, what you're doing is medically gross. Shit. I asked my gynecologist what to do about my gay boyfriend. And he said that if I trim my pubic hair to look like a man's mustache, he might think he's kissing a guy down there. This was his medical opinion. And he's like, no, I'm normal. So the rest of the movie, he's trying to convince people. He's like, no, it was all a hoax. So then they go to the Colonel. And they're like, Colonel, it was a hoax. And he's like, I don't care, whatever it is, you're unsuitable. You can't be in the army. Mm-hmm. So I guess that maybe they want to get into the army to prove to everyone else that they're not gay. Oh. So then they leave, right? Mm-hmm. And now they're outside on the sidewalk, outside the recruiting office. And he's like, yeah, I'm probably just going to go hide out. And hopefully this will blow over. They're both kind of sad. Like, I guess everyone thinks we're gay now forever. So the end of the movie is they shake hands, and then they cut up to the window of the Colonel and his assistant, George. The Colonel looks down, sees that they're straight, because they're shaking hands like friends. And then George says, you had those guys pegged all along. And then the Colonel turns to George, and he starts stroking his ear. And he goes, yeah, we don't want guys like that in the army, do we? Oh. George and the Colonel were gay for each other. So it turns out the army's gay. Yeah. And they didn't want to let straight people in. So really, this is just a movie about how gay guys are mean. Yeah. This movie is, if we put gay guys in charge, they're going to hurt everyone's feelings who wants to join the army. I mean, Uncle Sam at the beginning, he's pointing and going, I want you. I want you? I want you, not you. Like, the most intimidating guy in the world was the drill sergeant from Full Metal Jacket. Uh-huh. But imagine how much worse it would have been if that guy was also gay. He's like, Private, is this what you call serving, cunt? Is that what you call sachet, Private?
Serving, cunt? What does it mean?
I think it just means, like, you're snatched.
You're snatched? What do you say?
If you're serving cunt, you're snatched. I'm Jordan, are you even a gay guy? Sometimes I think you're not even a gay guy. Oh, was Al Pacino in Scent of a Woman an army guy?
I think so.
What if that was a movie where it turns out it was a guy, and he's like, but it was the scent of a woman. That was just another gay deceiver. The Gay Deceivers. Not to be confused with the Gay Seavers, which was the family on the TV show The Gay Growing Pains, starring gay Kirk Cameron. The past was doing its best.
That's the theme song.
Leave them alone. Leave them alone. Leave them alone. They were doing their best.